Hi everybody out there in YouTube world. Hope your day is going good. I know mine is. Today we are joined here to discuss some really cool topics as they relate to none other than me. And we're expounding on that a little bit more, not just focusing, I don't want to be too selfish and just focus on myself. I want to kind of enrich myself and others with this process, and I believe the way to do that is by including other topics with mine, and doing a little bit extra work with that, and hopefully it pays off in the long run. I hope that ultimately I get views. That's the main goal, to get views on here. And second goal with this is to gain something from the videos, either during recording or while I'm watching the video afterwards on YouTube. So I got a couple goals that I'm hoping to achieve with this. I'm not expecting to get views, but that's always a goal of mine. My goal is always to get views. And so this is no different. And I haven't really got views in the past, and the reason why I'm still doing this is because you never know when somebody might stumble across your video and you get a bunch of views, and you start getting more and more views after that. So that's why I'm continuing to do it, because you never know, among a whole myriad of other things and stuff. So today, I want to talk about something that's important. And so here we go. My divorce fed into the common misconception that's held within the military community, that the military kills marriages. As you guys know, I was married when I was in the military. After I joined the military is when I got married, and I was married through the military. We lived the whole life and stuff like that, and I was glad that I was married and stuff, and I had a good time. But unfortunately, we got a divorce, and when you're in the military, people always say it's not going to last. If you get married while you're in the military, it's not going to last. It's not going to last. And I always wondered why. And, I always heard the guys talking about it for various reasons. It's not going to last because of this, and this. And I'm just like thinking to myself, if it's love, it's love. It's going to last. If you guys love each other, it doesn't matter what kind of job you have. You could be a pastor or a business owner. If you love each other, then it's gonna last. You can be a movie star or somebody famous out there, but if you love each other, it's gonna last forever. You can't just blame it on the military. And that was kind of just my initial reaction to it when I heard people in the military, my boys, when I would go into work, when I would, after we had muster, which is where we line up and our leader comes in front of us and takes roll call for everybody, make sure everybody there, passes along any information that needs to be passed along for the day. And then after that, we head out to our respective work areas. So, we'd be chilling after muster in our respective work areas. I worked in the S3 shop, and they'd be talking about it, laughing, so-and-so just got married. How long do you think how long do you think his marriage is going to last? I give it a couple months, and just stuff like that. And yeah, anybody who gets married while they're in the military never lasts more than a year at the most. That's on the good end of military marriages. And then somebody else, yeah, but they only get married because of the money that comes along with getting married in the military. And they're like, yeah, but the money only lasts for so long. If you get out of the military, you don't have that military pay. And they're like, yeah, true. That is true. But even in the military, when you have the pay, if if you're fighting all the time, if it's just not working out, it's not going to work out. So I think when I was in the military, I was always just like, I don't quite believe in that. Obviously, well, first because I was married, but on the other side of that too, I believed in love. That if you love each other, it's going to last. If it's a good matchup, and I thought me and my wife was. I thought we were a good matchup. But come to find out, we get a divorce. Around the time I got a divorce, things were moving fast. And how I said, it fed into the misconception that the military is, if you get married in the military will ruin your marriage. And I say it's a misconception because it is a misconception, but in my case, when I got a divorce, it fed directly into the misconception because at the time, I just transitioned out of active duty. I was active duty for 5 years and I was transitioning out. So it was a rough time. It was a really rough time coming from active duty to reserves, which is what I was transitioning to. And along with that, a big move. Me and my wife were moving from North Carolina to Utah. We ended up staying here in Arizona, though, and finding a place here. All of this while I'm transitioning out of the military into the reserves, trying to find a job. I'm trying to find a job. She's trying to find a job. She's not having much luck out here finding a job, and I'm not having much luck. I found some work, but I'm not thinking it's going to last very long, but it is something that I found. And she's getting interviews here and there, but nothing that's really sticking. So she's not having much luck finding work. Needless to say, I'm super busy with my job that I found. I'm still in the reserves on the weekends, and I'm still in the reserves on the weekend, and I'm doing my yearly, around the time that we're getting divorced, which is in 2010 when we got our divorce. I'm doing my yearly training with the reserves, so I'm heading out over to Japan and stuff, trying to training for the reserves and stuff like that. So I'm still staying active in the military. I'm still doing the reserve thing, but it was a big transition from active duty to the reserves, moving all the way out here, which is like 2,500 miles. We traveled 2,500 miles, packed up all our stuff, moved, went from having a lot of stability to a future being in question, and not necessarily being in question, but making it more challenging, and just the future is changing at the time. And the military, for me, is still in the forefront through all these changes with the reserves, but I'm not getting the same pay, so I have to find another job. I'm out there and I find something. She doesn't find anything, and when it all boils down in the end, when it boils down to it, we get a divorce in 2010. We finalize our divorce and stuff like that. And so I can't really blame the military for the divorce, but it fed into the misconception because at the time there was a lot of military stuff going on with me that I had to execute around the time when the divorce was going on. We got a divorce in 2010, and I leave active duty military in 2009 and go into the reserves, and I get out of the reserves in 2012. So, there's a lot of stuff happening with the Navy, the United States Navy, that's going on. that's surrounding the divorce. So that's why I said it feeds into the misconception, and it just made me think back to all the times that I heard the conversation saying, "Dude, don't get married while you're in the military because the military is gonna you're gonna end up getting a divorce because of the military." And I never believed it. I just tried to avoid the conversation altogether. But yeah, it did make me think about that. Um, and so it was hard getting a divorce because I was overseas too at the time in the reserves. So it was kind of hard. I don't know if it contributed to me not being able to successfully stay married and do away with the divorce because I was over in Japan and I wasn't able to communicate as good. She moved back to Utah and I was in Japan. So it's like we went in opposite directions. Would things have been different if I didn't go over to Japan and stuff? And those questions went through my mind, were going through my mind that, I may be doing the wrong thing by doing my job for the Navy because our marriage is in a state of turmoil and stuff. But in the end, it failed, and I guess ultimately you could say I failed. And was it the military's fault? Who knows? But all of those stories and the major milestones in the military right next to the divorce. You can only think, but I still say it's a misconception because I still believe in love. I'm still a sucker for love, and I still think it's out there and stuff. And I look up to people I look up to when it comes to the matters of the heart. And one of the people I look up to when it comes to the matters of the heart is one of my favorite singers, Robin Thicke. He's somebody who knows about love. He knows about anything dealing with marriage and stuff like that. And so all of these questions I look to him. And when he got a divorce, I felt bad for him that he got a divorce and stuff like that. But I don't look at him any less than a person because in my eyes, he's still an expert when it comes to love and when it comes to relationships with women. I don't know why him and Patton didn't work out, but it didn't. But it did work out in one sense because they have a child together. So it did work out there. But what I'm trying to say is during those times and always in my life, I've always listened to Robin Thicke. As soon as I found him, boom, I knew he was the real deal. And stuff like that. And I was just reading an article on him. I'm happy for him too. I just read an article from dailymail.co.uk by written by Katie Story on October 28th of 2018. Basically, the story, what did it say? I can't remember the exact wording, but his girlfriend, his new girlfriend, who's a supermodel, she's a model, is pregnant and with their child, so she's just barely, and this is brand new. They're going to be having a baby, and the person who wrote the story said she's pregnant with their second child with her second child with Boo Robin Thicke. It said it said she is pregnant, or she's giving birth. She's pregnant with her second child with Boo Robin Thicke, referring to his new model girlfriend. She is pregnant with their second child. So, and it's theirs. They already have a child together. I didn't even know he had. I still listen to his stuff, but I haven't followed his his life, like his daily life and stuff, recently. But I just looked up his story on him because I wanted to see where he was at. I knew he got a divorce. I know he got a divorce from Patton, and so I was hoping to find something on that, and which I did. This development, with his new, according to Katie story, he is having a second child with this model chick, and so I'm happy that he's moving forward, and I didn't doubt that he wouldn't be able to find another girl easily because first he's a superstar, he's an R&B singer, he has lots of money. It's not that hard to find a chick when you have all of those qualities about you. But he's more than that too. He actually is a person who knows about love. And when you listen to his music, you'll figure that out too. Robin Thicke, when you listen to his music, you'll figure out that he knows what he's talking about. And bad stuff happens to everybody. And it might not even be bad stuff, but it's just something that he went through, and it was just a part of his destiny and stuff like that. Because nobody's dead, he didn't murder nobody, so you can't really say it's like super bad. But I'm sure when he married her first, he didn't imagine getting a divorce, but now he's moving forward, and that's good. So. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Check in next time. See you later.